Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm back with the Nina Mori Nation Draft League, and we have our Week 1 prep here, and perhaps the battle as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to do my videos yet. Not sure if I'm going to do like a 10-minute prep video and however long the battle takes and combine it, or if I'm just going to do separate videos. Probably combine it though. So let's go ahead and hop into it then. So I have the Clefable, Suicune, Mega Alakazam, Infernape, Mandibuzz, Nidoqueen, Serena, Tauros, Kling, and the Munchlax. And my opponent has the Rillaboom, Mega Scizor, Victini, Kyurem, Slowking. He's got the Slurpuff, Dragalge, Delmize, Pikachu, Porygon, the Cosmos little thingy, and the Torracat. So this season I'm going to be putting my opponent's team is not in order the way he drafted. I'm going to be putting him in the order of the 6 Pokemon I think he will bring most likely, and then the bottom half of his team will be the Pokemon I think are least likely. My opponent has 12 Pokemon, has 2 more than me, so a lot of different options he can bring, but his team's kind of top heavy. A lot of teams are top heavy though, so Rillaboom's a huge threat with Grassy Glide in the grassy terrain having priority. Mega Scizor having priority with the Bullet Punch. Victini's a huge threat. Incredible wall breaker with things like V-Create, Bolt Strike, and then it has Psychic coverage, special attack options with Blue Flare, Searing Shot, Psychic, and perhaps Psyshock. Kyurem, also another huge offensive threat with the potential to run like Choice Specs or like a sub Roost with the Freeze Dry set. Can take advantage of my Suicune. Could be like a Metronome or like a Dragonite set. All kinds of options for Kyurem. It's a huge threat to the team. Slowking can be kind of annoying as a defensive pivot, and Slurpuff can either set up sticky webs, it could belly drum, it could do both, it could be a Calm Mind variant. Lots of different options for it. The Dragalge, obviously an awesome wall breaker as well. A little bit less likely to come. I do have the Kling, as well as just Mega Alakazam that can outspeed and trace adaptability. The Delmize is not bad either. Being a fat grass type with the Ghost allows him to have a immunity to my Tauros, which is nice for him, I suppose. Speaking of Tauros, it actually looks pretty cool in this matchup, which is why I brought it in Week 1. I'm not sure that I'll be bringing it a lot, but when it does have a nice matchup, for example, it outpaces my opponent's entire team, it makes me more inclined to bring it when it has a decent matchup at least. So I'm not really going to talk about Pikachu. I don't think it's going to come. I have a Nidoqueen and a Serena. So I really don't see that thing coming. The Porygon could come. Not going to be doing much. I guess I could break through it with things like Alakazam, Infernape, and Nidoqueen pretty easily. And then the little Psychic type thing doesn't really have any kind of coverage. I think it can run like Teleport and Recover or something like that. I'm not even sure. And the Torracat could actually come. It's a really nice pivot into things like Serena, Kling, even the Tauros and the Mandibuzz. So I really don't see it coming. I do see the Rillaboom, the Mega Scizor, Victini, Kyurem, and the Slowking for sure coming. And then I see the Slurpuff, Dragalge, or Delmize coming in the 6th spot. So I've decided to bring a Clefable. I have Stealth Rocks, Moonblast, Wish, and Protect. Can't really hit the Mega Scizor or the Victini. And the Dragalge can pretty much bop me before I can bop it. So those things could be problematic. But I have other ways of, dealing with that. I mainly brought a Max HP, Max Spadef Clefable to switch in onto the Kyurem. Scout if it's Choice Specs. If it is Choice Specs with Ice Beam or something like that, I can hard switch into Suicune or Infernape. If it goes for Draco Meteor, then obviously I'm immune and I can tank the earth powers that it could potentially be bringing for something like the Klinklang or the Infernape. I thought about bringing Munchlax as a defensive check, not a counter, but a defensive check to Kyurem and Victini with the thick fat and the EVLI, making it a really, really, really bulky Munchlax, but ultimately decided on using Clefable and then pivoting around with my offensive threats. The reason I didn't bring Munchlax is because I wanted to have a little bit more of an offensive presence. I didn't want to sacrifice any of my 3 offensive Pokemon in Alakazam, Infernape, or Tauros in this matchup. So, I do have the Suicune as well. It's very, very bulky with enough speed to outpace a modest Kyurem, so that if it was like a modest sub variant or just modest in general, I can always be faster and get off a Toxic. I am running Toxic, Protect, Sub, and Scald, I think. And my cat just destroyed something in the living room. I'm not too worried about it right now. So Suicune can switch into Mega Scizor pretty comfortably. If it's a Swords Dance variant, obviously it could be an issue, but I do have the opportunity for Scald Burns and things like that. Scald is really nice against the Victini as well. Can switch into V-Create, can scout for Choice Scarf, Choice Band on the Victini. If he does go for something like Bolt Strike, I can pivot around. Obviously it won't knock me out in one hit, and if he's like, if I can tell the damage is like Choice Band or something, or if I've already determined he's Choice Scarf, I can pivot around that way. But Victini is a huge threat, and if he does go for something like Bolt Strike, he could 2-hit KO me, and then, or potentially like get half damage off, and then do quite a bit of damage to something like Clefable or Mandibuzz if I switch into it. So Victini is a huge problem, which is why I have the Suicune, and I have Shadow Ball on Mega Alakazam, and I have Earthquake on Infernape, as well as the Payapa Berry to kind of bait the fact, just to give myself more confidence staying in versus a Victini. I can always take the Zen Headbutt. If he's Choice Scarf and goes faster than me, then I will survive the first Zen Headbutt. Provided I don't get crit, I will get Earthquake damage off, and then the following turn I can switch into my Mandibuzz. So yeah, Victini is a huge threat. Also, with Suicune's Toxic, I can land on Slowking, as well as outpacing and landing on Delmize. It's really nice for the Torcat if he does decide to bring it. I don't mind Parting Shot that much. And I can take like a Draco Meteor or Sludge Wave from Choice Specs, Dragalge as well with my HP investment, which is really cool. So Mega Alakazam is really awesome in this match. I can trace things like Victory Star, which would boost my Focus Blast accuracy. I could trace Pressure even from the Kyurem, Regenerator from the Slowking, Adaptability from the Dragalge, which is really cool. And those are the main abilities that would be fun to trace and use. Obviously, I outpace my entire opponent squad with Mega Alakazam without any speed investment or a speed boosting nature. So I'm afforded to run Modest Nature, max special attack, with max HP for just like longevity purposes. It gives me the most bulk without like specifically EVing to live anything. So my last move is actually Protect, because first of all, I'm bringing Protect on 3 Pokemon. My first 3, Clefable, Suicune, and Mega Alakazam, because my opponent could very well bring a Trick Room team with Victini and Slowking, Dragalge and Delmize and things like that. So I would like to have Protect on a few mons so that I can bypass some of the Trick Room turns. So yeah, that's why I'm running Protect on Mega Alakazam. I could have run Calm Mind or like Sub or Taunt or something like that, but I decided on Protect for this matchup, specifically for option that my opponent could bring in Trick Room. So next up we got the Infernape. I've talked about it a little bit already, saying that I've got Earthquake and the Payapa Berry. I am EV'd to outpace the Victini, which makes me faster than his entire team, and I can run a Jolly Nature to do that. Unfortunately, I can't run Adamant, but I am packing the Swords Dance, the Flare Blitz, Fire Punch. I'm running Fire Punch with the Blaze ability, I think. Close Combat, and Earthquake. And Earthquake is for the Victini, obviously. It can hit the Dragalge as well. If he does decide to bring it, it does resist fire and fighting type attacks. Not exactly sure what just happened. Anyways, back to what I was saying with the Slowking. I can Toxicate with my Suicune. Clefable doesn't mind it. I have the Shadow Ball on the Mega Alakazam. Can just switch my Infernape out. I'm also packing the Payapa Berry if he's carrying Psychic coverage. And my Mandibuzz can just Roostall it, as well as my Tauros. Hitting it just for neutral damage with very powerful stab type attacks and Body Slam. But we'll get to that in just a moment. So, Infernape can actually take an Ice Beam. It's not 2-hit KO'd or even 3-hit KO'd by Choice Specs Kyurem's Ice Beam. Draco Meteor is a different story. Will drop me in 1. I can take 2+2 Bullet Punches from Mega Scizor as well, which is really nice, as well as taking Grassy Glide. I think I take like half from an offensive Rillaboom. Close to half. A little bit less than half, probably. Mandibuzz, fantastic switch into Rillaboom, as well as can just be a nice pivot overall for things like Mega Scizor, Victini, Slowking, Dragalge, Delmise, etc. Especially the Torracat as well. In case he does bring it, I don't. It's a possibility. It's always a possibility. You just got to keep that in mind. Mandibuzz has the U-turn so that I can get momentum on things. I do force a lot of switches with it, and I can bring in my Infernape and Alakazam off of that and cause havoc. As well as my Tauros, which is a Jolly variant outpacing the Victini, which includes the rest of his team as well, with the Sheer Force Life Orb, with Substitute and Work Up. I'm packing the Work Up, Sub Work Up, Body Slam, and Flamethrower. So Flamethrower hits Mega Scizor and the Delmise, which is really nice for me. But yeah, I guess that's going to be the prep, and we can go ahead and hop into the battle now. Here we are in the battle. My opponent chooses to bring the Slurpuff, Delmise, Rillaboom, Victini, Kyurem, and Mega Scizor. So there's no, the first thing I noticed was there's no Slowking, which means Infernape has an absolute field day versus my opponent. As long as I can play it right, obviously. Victini can be a nuisance, but he doesn't know if I'm packing Earthquake or Shadow Claw to hit it. He doesn't know if I'm packing like a Choice Scarf U-turn and I just get momentum out into Mandibuzz or Suicune or something like that. He doesn't know what I'm rocking. But I am leaning on Infernape and Mega Alakazam offensively in this match, as well as my Tauros. It looks really solid in this matchup as well. Packing the Flamethrower and having the Body Slam that's unresisted outside of Pokemon that get hit with Flamethrower. So, that being said, I wanted to, let's see here. I wanted to lead with my Infernape in case he led with Victini. That way I could just click Earthquake and get Earthquake damage off before a grassy terrain comes up. But if he and he just not got the Slowking, so Infernape's an obvious lead for me. I could prioritize Clefable, but if he leads with something like Rillaboom or Victini or even the Mega Scizor, it puts me at a disadvantage. So I'm going to lead with my Infernape and see what my opponent wants to lead with. He does lead with the Victini, and I am so tempted to stay in here and click Earthquake. There is no grassy terrain yet. I should outpace if he's not Scarfed, and I have the Payapa Berry to survive any Psychic type attack. So I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, and he does stay in, and he goes for the U-turn. So that's best case scenario for me. I get the Earthquake damage off. He barely does any damage to me. He does 8% with the U-turn, and he brings in the Rillaboom. And here I'm thinking he's probably going to switch out, but he could be Choice Scarf and wants to maybe U-turn, or maybe he just wants to use Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain and Grassy Glide to get some big damage off on my Infernape so that the rest of his team's not so troubled by it. But either way, I'm just going to click the Fire Punch here. I'm not locked into Earthquake, and Fire Punch into Earthquake, if I don't get a low row, should still knock him out under the terrain here, thanks to the previous Earthquake damage and the fire punch damage. Also, if I don't knock him out with the earthquake, again, I do have the Payapa Berry to survive any psychic type attack, and the grassy terrain has brought me to full health again. So I'm able to knock his Victini out without essentially taking any damage, as the grassy terrain's healed me back to full. He does bring in the Slurpuff. He does have the Grassy Seed, which gives him a defense boost, so I'm immediately going to go out into my Clefable, as I'm physically offensive in Fernape, and I wouldn't have been able to do any damage. I am unaware here, and I'm just going to go for putting up my Stealth Rocks, as I'm not, like, intimidated or hindered any at all by the Slurpuff. So I do Hard Switch into my Infernape after I got some nice Moonblast damage off on the Delmise. Switch into my Infernape on the Delmise, as it goes for the switcheroo, actually. I was expecting maybe the Anchor Shot with the Steelworker ability, and it works out for me, because now I'm a Choice Banded Infernape, and I can go for unresisted Choice Band Fire Punch, stab Fire Punches. So I'm not going to be able to knock Cure him out from here, so I'm going to go straight out into my Clefable. I actually predicted the Earth Power, but I guess Draco makes sense as well, and I'm immune to that. And Clefable obviously would have max HP, max Spadef. It would have walled a Choice Specs Earth Power, unless it got like a Spadef drop or something. But then again, I'm unaware, so I probably don't take that into consideration. I double into my Infernape expecting his Mega Scizor to come out, but he actually goes into the Rillaboom, which is still okay. I'm still going to click the Fire Punch. I am Choice Banded now. He goes for the Grassy Glide. He does do almost half, but I am able to knock him out with the Fire Punch there. And Kyurem comes in here, and this is kind of a risk for me, but I felt like it was a risk worth taking. If he's got no bulk investment, I have a chance to knock him out here. If he's a little bit bulky, then I don't. I mean, I guess it's still a roll, but it's more in his favor that way. But if he goes for Ice Beam or Freeze Dry or Draco Meteor, if he goes for any kind of Ice type attack, he won't knock me out. If he goes for Draco, I could go out to my Clefable again, so I don't expect him to do that. I expect him to predict my Clefable and maybe go for Freeze Dry or Ice Beam. So I'm just going to stay in and click the Fire Punch, and I'm 5% away from knocking him out, and I unfortunately get frozen. So that's really unfortunate for me. I'm just going to stay in and allow my Infernape to go down, but my boy breaks free, thaws out, uses the Choice Banded Fire Punch, easy knockout from that range. He brings in the Mega Scizor, potentially in Bullet Punch range here if he's Adamant Max Attack, but I survive, and it looks like if his Slurpuff doesn't have any bulk investment, I guess I don't need to pause it. If he doesn't have any bulk investment, he will go down, and he does go down. Infernape picks up six knockouts in the opening match to win the game 6-0, not losing a single Pokemon. So really good game to my opponent. I'm really glad that I was able to deal with Victini and Kyurem so effectively, and that my opponent didn't bring the Slowking. So Infernape put in the work that I thought it could, especially without the Slowking. I didn't expect 6 knockouts. I'll go ahead and say that. I did not expect 6 knockouts. Yeah. I'm proud of this performance, though. It was a good game, and I'm looking forward to week number 2. Yeah, this is week 1, so I'm looking forward to week number 2. So we're starting off the season with a win, and that's really fun, and looking forward to the rest of the season. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next